Hi everybody, welcome to Crandall Reviews. Today going to take a look at the brand new Christmas horror comedy Krampus, brought to us by Michael Dougherty, who did Trick or Treat, a really good Halloween anthology horror flick. Now he's tackling Christmas. Krampus is one of those legends that a lot of people have talked about. Santa Claus's shadow, who doesn't come to give on Christmas, he comes to take. So if you have lost hope and the joy of Christmas, Krampus may come and visit you and rain terror down. And this is a great concept for a movie. I love the idea of a Christmas movie that is scary, like a Black Christmas. And it does feel like a very 80s throwback kind of movie. The whole vibe is a little bit scary. It's really atmospheric. When Krampus starts, it kind of starts in holiday comedy mode. We get a really funny montage of people scouring for Black Friday deals at the beginning as the credits play. Then we meet the main family. Adam Scott from Parks and Rec, who is so great as Ben Wyatt, plays the dad. Toni Collette as the mom. Their young son, Max, is just sort of coming to terms with the fact that he's getting older and Santa doesn't mean the same thing as it used to. Their awful in-laws, basically a ripoff of Cousin Eddie from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, show up, played by David Koechner and Allison Tolman from Fargo. They're both great. Their awful kids come. The awful kids sort of torment Max and make fun of him because he's written a letter to Santa Claus. Now, he gets very upset, and instead of mailing the letter to Santa, he decides to tear it up and toss it out the window, which of course opens the door for Krampus to pay a visit. We start to shift more into horror mode, and the movie has a lot of atmosphere. The power goes out, there's a big blizzard nobody can see, so the rest of the movie is very dark, moody, and really relies heavily on the soundtrack to sell a lot of the atmosphere and the scares. But then slowly the movie starts to sort of settle down and gets into this kind of monotonous, repetitive groove where everybody's just on high alert and there's lots of weird noises and stuff going on, and it's not that engaging or entertaining in those moments. However, then we shift gears into the finale where we get lots of gruesome practical effects that are really nice as Krampus and his minions finally start to torture this family. The acting across the board is really strong. Adam Scott is acting his ass off, and David Koechner is playing David Koechner, but he's good, and it's entertaining. It's just that there is that like 20-minute lull that really almost derails a lot of my enjoyment, but the practical effects when we finally see Krampus are really good. Great character design, horrendous and gross looking. I liked some of his minions. The little gingerbread dudes I thought were a highlight, clearly inspired by Gremlins. There's a whole sequence that's kind of a note-for-note ripoff of Gremlins, but I love Gremlins, so I loved that sequence. The elves, I didn't care for that much. They're just creeps wearing masks, and I thought that bit got a little bit monotonous, a little bit repetitive, and the characters are acting so stupid that it's really hard to get invested in them, even though we've got these great actors, and the kids are good too. I sometimes didn't care for the characters. You're almost rooting for Krampus. Now, this movie is PG-13 and it's intense, and it didn't need to be rated R. I think it still pulls it off mostly. Dougherty does a great job, really confident, steady direction, but I just thought the minions do a lot of the stuff, not Krampus himself, and I wanted to see more of actual Krampus. There's an animated sequence in the last third that explains sort of a bit of the origin of Krampus and how this family maybe is connected to Krampus. And while being beautiful to look at and really, really cool and kind of Burton, Guillermo del Toro-esque, it felt out of place in this movie because we hadn't had any animation. We'd been trying to sell horror comedy laughs for most of it, and then we get this really somber, serious animated sequence, but it belonged in a different movie and it was kind of jarring. So this movie is fun. It is a little bit scary. It's got great practical effects, but the tone is a little bit wishy-washy and it goes on a little bit too long. But Krampus is decent and fun, and there isn't that many movies like it out there right now. Creature features that are also holiday flicks. So if you're into that kind of thing, definitely check it out. I give it a mild recommendation. So that is Krampus. Like the video, let me know in the comments whether Krampus scared you shitless or bored you to death, and don't forget to hit subscribe.